You want the moon? Just say the word and I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down.
Look at the stars. The great kings of the past look down on us from those stars. So whenever you feel alone, just remember that those kings will always be there to guide you.
I don't think it is very useful to speculate on what God might or might not be able to do. Rather, we should examine what he actually does with the universe we live in.
We are all explorers, driven to know what's over the horizon. The most profound discoveries are not necessarily beyond that next star. They're within us, woven into the threads that bind us.
Hello, beautiful people. Happy Thursday, happy Jupiter Day, and happy birthday to some notable Tauruses, including Jessica Alba, Penelope Cruz, Bridget Moynihan, Melanie Martinez, and Margaret. We love Anne Margaret. Jay Leno has a birthday today as well. And let's see, Jonathan Scott, which I'm assuming that would mean the other property brother also has a birthday today because they're twins, right? Yeah. And Drew Scott. There we go. Yep, both of them have birthdays today. Let me know if you have a birthday, if someone you know has a birthday, and we can celebrate them together during our time here this morning. So we are making our way towards Saturday's solar eclipse in Taurus. And there are no coincidences. It's always aligned leading up to a major astrological event like this, at least in my experience studying the transits every day. And today's energy really allows us to have some profound realizations, to go deep within and unpack any shadows, any limiting beliefs. Remember what we talked about yesterday with eclipses revealing our shadows? Well, today could be a little bit of a preview of that, or help us rationalize what's emotionally been coming up for us over the past couple weeks leading up to this eclipse. So this could be a very transformative day, or it could just bring some aha moments, kind of piecing together the transformation that's been happening. We have Mercury forming a trine to Pluto. That's the transit I'm talking about. So that trine is a nice harmonious angle. It allows for thoughts and intuition to work together, our subconscious to be realized in our conscious state. And I'm curious how everybody's feeling with the collective energy. I know that it's kind of been a bumpy ride leading up to this eclipse, with Saturn squaring off to the north and south nodes. We've had some pretty intense transits, and then not to mention all of the really potent Pisces energy with these conjunctions between Venus, Neptune, and Jupiter still playing out in Pisces. So I know there's this element of kind of getting lost in a fantasy and allowing our minds to wander, but at the same time, our feet are planted on the ground, and we're very much here in Earth School, going through the motions of trying to rationalize and ground the light that's happening up here into our 3D reality. So let's pull up the chart and talk about Mercury forming a trine to Pluto. Here we go. We have Mercury in Taurus at 28 degrees. So Mercury is reaching the end of its transit through Taurus, and tomorrow Mercury enters Gemini, which we will talk all about. We have a ton to go over tomorrow. Mercury entering Gemini, Pluto stationing retrograde. We'll talk about the solar eclipse, what it means for your sign, and all of the energy playing out around this solar eclipse, which is very potent because, as I mentioned, we have Venus forming a conjunction to Jupiter in the background. Tomorrow's show is going to be very juicy. You don't want to miss it. So follow me on Instagram for some details about, we have a guest, Court Burns with Bravely Beautiful brand joining us, and I'll announce timing and everything like that to make sure you can ask your questions about the solar eclipse with us live. Okay, back to the forecast though. we have Mercury over here and we have Pluto over here, both of them in earth signs. And you see that blue line, that's a nice 120-degree trine. Now, something that's, I guess, tugging on me to mention about a trine is this is a nice 120-degree angle. So it's essentially splitting the wheel into thirds. You can imagine if there was a planet over here in Virgo, the third earth sign, it would be a balanced, I think that's called an equilateral triangle, taking me back to geometry. So the reason a trine is so harmonious is because it represents equality, it represents balance, it represents flow. And that's why with Pluto, the planet of death and rebirth, the planet of shadows, the planet of depth, our subconscious patterning. That's why these deep beliefs, these deep beliefs is a good word for it, but also thoughts, memories, anything stored deep within our subconscious can easily surface and easily come into our conscious awareness with Mercury in Taurus harmonizing with Pluto. Okay, so I think of Mercury in Taurus as this kind of slow, steady, methodically putting the pieces together. Once Mercury moves into Gemini tomorrow, you'll see our mental state could scatter again a little bit or just kind of pick up the pace, be a little bit busier. Mercury in Taurus has allowed us to really patiently and slowly gather information. And I see this as I visualize it with Mercury forming a trine to Pluto. Pluto is deep, right? I feel like this is pulling information out. Sometimes when we talk about Mercury, it's like grounding things down from the ether. But for this transit, it really feels like pulling information, pulling data out from the depths of ourselves and from the depths of our souls. That sounded really intense, but it just came to me. What can I say? Anyway, what does this mean for you? Well, profound realizations are possible. Now, there is a shadow to this, and we could find ourselves obsessively researching or really trying to get to the bottom of things. But getting to the bottom of things will come more easily because we have this nice flowing angle between the two planets. So this energy is best used if we turn inward and really unpack the contents of our own psyche. And that's when those powerful realizations can come in. But we have to be willing to get vulnerable and to go deep with ourselves and with other people. This could also be, we still have Venus and Neptune loosely conjunct in the background. They're within a degree of each other still. So this could be a great time to go deep with someone else too, to be willing to hold that space. And it could allow for a transcendental moment in relationships with Venus and Neptune conjunct in the background, allowing us to lean into that higher love and that higher understanding of love. So if you are in a partnership, romantic or not, being willing to go vulnerable, tapping into your own depths and holding space for someone else to do the same can bring your love for that person to another level, can help you both gain a higher understanding of not only your relationship, but the relationship with energy, spirit, God, the love all around you at all times. Now, another potential of this transit today, this harmony between Mercury and Pluto, is that we could begin to make sense of the transformational journey we're on. Because remember, Pluto is the alchemist. It's the planet of transformation. So my dog says, yes, Pluto, planet of transformation. We're on this transformational journey, and now is the time where we could be putting the pieces together. It could have felt like we're on the roller coaster, and now we're able to kind of at the top of the roller coaster, when we get this moment to breathe, be like, okay, that's the journey we're on, and here's what we have left of it. So, it could just feel like putting the pieces together of things. We're in eclipse season now. So we're all on a transformational journey of some sort. It looks different for each and every one of us. And tune in tomorrow to talk about exactly what area of your life this eclipse is affecting. But communication with yourself, like really getting intimate with yourself and communicating with others, can bring some profound breakthroughs, some profound realizations. Hold on. Okay. Got to keep my Instagram friends in the loop. Madison says, just read The Road Back to You. It's all about the Enneagram and it's transforming my marriage for the better. I highly recommend. You know what, Madison? I have been thinking about doing a show on Enneagrams and looking into my own. I've been curious about it for a long time and I've been feeling the pull to explore it a little bit more. So I love that you just said that because I feel like that's confirmation that I need to look into my own. I was just watching Atlas of the Heart by Brene Brown yesterday, finishing up that series, and she talked about her Enneagram too, and I was like, I wonder what I am. Like, I love archetypal systems, of course, with astrology, with human design, so I don't know why I haven't looked into my Enneagram yet, but let me know if you're watching, if you are a fan of, Court is already reading my mind. She said, love Enneagram. Okay, so what number are you? I don't even know what number I am. I need to figure this out immediately, I guess. This would be a great day. Also, as we're talking about this with Mercury harmonizing with Pluto, these systems, astrology, numerology, Enneagram, human design, are all beautiful tools to unpack your psyche, to get to know yourself better. So if you're feeling the pull towards something like that today, it could be as simple as just calculating your birth chart on my website and just kind of getting a feel for something, dipping your toe in, seeing if it excites your curiosity and diving into that curiosity a little bit more. You're a 4. I don't know what that means, but when I read about it, I'm going to be like, okay, I know Court's a 4 now. I want to know what, okay, Madison's a type 3 with a 2 wing. I didn't even know there were wings. What? Oh, I cried while reading all about it because I finally felt seen. Oh, I love that. I love that. And I love when people find systems that totally work for them. Like, I love astrology. Astrology just makes sense to me. I think everybody, once they have a chart reading, kind of feels like, okay, like I feel seen, but sometimes people don't resonate with that as much as numerology, as much as human design. So it's really all about finding a system that works best for you to reflect on your own self. Okay, I think Sandy asks, does anybody know if we're in Mercury retrograde? Mercury goes retrograde, I think May 10th. Let me double check that date. So we're not in it yet, but the shadow period is starting soon. Let me give you an exact date. Hopefully I'm saying your name right. Yeah, May 10th to June 3rd, we will be in Mercury retrograde. So stay tuned. We'll talk all about that in the next, 10, 15 days or so. But know that the shadow period is coming in the next week or so. We're not in it yet, but it is nice to know when it's coming, right? Yeah, just been feeling kind of off. That's also eclipse season, you guys. So eclipse season and retrograde season often feel similar. There's a lot of like chaos and things out of our hands and shifts happening for us. Retrograde season is more about going back and reviewing for ourselves, where eclipse season is like the universe just shifting things around, bringing things into our awareness, kind of taking the wheel for us. So also the Pisces energy that we have, I mean, look at our chart right now, you guys. We have, let me see, pull it up here for you. We still have 4 planets in Pisces. We have Mars, Neptune, Venus, and Jupiter in Pisces. Pisces energy is confusing. It's boundaryless. Is that a word? There are no boundaries with Pisces energy. So it's kind of like you're floating in a cloud and you can't really see what's outside of the cloud, but it's dreamy up here and we like it. We just don't really know how to make sense of it, right? So that can be kind of creating some confusion for you as well, especially depending on where Pisces is in your own chart. All right, let's talk about what's going on with the moon today. So the moon is in Aries. You can see it here on our chart. Where are you, Aries? Over here. It's funny when we have so many planets at the end of Pisces, it looks like all of these planets are in Aries, but really they're all right here at the end of Pisces. The moon, however, and Chiron are both in Aries, and you can see at this moment, they are conjunct. So let's start with the Aries moon. What does it mean when the moon is in Aries? Well, we could feel an extra burst of energy or drive. However, too much energy isn't always a good thing. It can make us feel a little agitated or irritated. We could feel restless, especially intuitively knowing that these shifts are coming with the eclipse and kind of being aware that something is going on energetically. Someone just asked, are we in Mercury retrograde? Even if you're not plugged into the transits, I think all of us can kind of feel like, okay, something is happening here, right? So the Aries moon kind of adds to that and gives us a sense of like, we need to do something. There are changes happening, but we don't really know what to do, right? So that restless energy can be best resolved under a fire moon, and specifically an Aries moon, with physical exercise or movement. Aries energy wants us to take initiative, and so it might be you kicking your own butt into shape and being like, I don't feel good right now and I need to do something to move this energy. Moving your body in whatever way feels good to you, I always feel is the best way to move energy under a fire moon. This could also bring a desire to start something new as we anticipate the shifts coming, like trying to control it and start something instead of just allowing the universe to do things. But beware of the urge to try to force and control things. Instead, use that movement and focus on clearing your channel, clear out energy, make space for something fresh and new to come in. You gotta have to. We want to give the universe space to make moves for us. So rather than trying to start something or using your energy to try to like control or make something new, I would recommend focusing your energy on clearing things out and just like creating that fresh space for yourself. Now with the moon conjunct Chiron right now, luckily this is a short transit happening as we speak, but it can trigger deep wounds. And Chiron is the wounded healer. It represents our deepest wounds and our ability to heal them. So when the moon meets up with Chiron and Aries, don't be surprised if at some point today, specifically earlier in the day, if you kind of feel triggered by something, especially something that caused you pain or wounding or trauma in the past. Aggressive outbursts are possible with the moon conjunct Chiron. Again, these could be short-lived, but pay attention to what's coming up for you and what's coming up for the people around you, and kind of take a step back if you can. It's hard when we're in the heat of the moment, but if you can take a step back and follow that emotion to the direct source, right? Angry outbursts, highly intense feelings can be direct lines to what still needs to be healed, something crying out within us to be noticed. And with Mercury harmonizing with Pluto today, it'll be easy to unpack those things, to go there, to be vulnerable with ourselves. So really pay attention if you're feeling angry or anxious or irritated, like what is being triggered inside of you, because this transit with the moon meeting up with Chiron does bring our emotional awareness to our healing and has the great potential for healing, but only if we're willing to go there and to face the pain head on. So not the most fun transit to talk about, okay, but it has great potential, especially with eclipse season. Shifts are possible, and today's really asking us to get vulnerable with ourselves. I just hid myself instead of the chart. Get vulnerable with ourselves and be willing to go deep. Be willing to face the pain. Roy, my birthday is May 22nd. Can you tell me my horoscope? I would have to look at your chart, but if you're May 22nd, that would make you, I believe, a Gemini. I have to look at the cutoff, and I would have to, like I said, see your full chart. But let's see. Since you're asking, hold on. Geminis today. Mercury will move back into Taurus on your birthday, by the way. But let me look at the chart. Hold on. Let me think about this for a second. There's not a whole lot going on in Gemini right now. Saturn is in Aquarius. That's the only other air sign being activated. You could feel some tension if you're a Gemini, though, because all of the activity in Pisces is squaring off to Gemini. So if you have a lot of Gemini placements, you could be feeling confused by the Pisces energy, or a little bit like lost in a dreamland, but to the point of like feeling tension because you don't really know how to ground all those things into reality. But the moon in Aries is supportive for you. So emotionally, you might feel like a little bit more secure with the moon in Aries, like, okay, we got this, but also confused about what's happening around you. Without seeing your chart, that's the best I can do for you today, Roy. All right, everybody, let's do, actually really quickly, now that I just brought that up for Roy, I just want to remind you all, this is a great time, especially before our live stream tomorrow talking all about the eclipse. your homework before then, or just if you want to get curious about yourself, which is definitely on track for today's transits, look at your own chart. Again, you can always find it by scanning the QR code in the corner or going to thespiritualjournalist.com/birth chart. Pay attention to what's in Pisces and what's in Taurus. That's the energy we're seeing play out overarchingly right now. We're seeing a lot of back and forth. I mean, we have a stellium in Pisces and a stellium in Taurus as we speak. So that's the major energy playing out. And it's going to be really helpful for you to know which houses are ruled by Pisces and Taurus in your chart, because you could be feeling pulls in those areas or shifts in those areas. So it's a really good idea to take a look at what's going on for you in Pisces and Taurus. Okay, that's my PSA. You are so welcome, Roy. I hope that resonated. Let's do a little overview and then we will pull a card. So as we approach Saturday's solar eclipse, we could begin to unpack our own shadows or realize the transformational journey we're on in our own lives. Messenger Mercury is flowing with alchemist Pluto, allowing us to go deep within ourselves, uncover our truth, and really realize what's going on in our own psyche. Now, the Aries Moon can create a feeling of restlessness at the same time, especially because we're aware that shifts are coming, the energy is changing. So this can make it a little difficult to lean into the waning energy of surrender. The moon is in its waning phase, asking us to let go as we prepare for a new chapter. Especially as the moon meets up with wounded healer Chiron, it's going to activate our deepest wounds. And it could make us feel especially triggered as we are forced to acknowledge unhealed pain. So whatever energy you're feeling, if there's a sense of restlessness or unease, moving your body is the quickest, easiest way to move emotions through you today. And as we head towards this eclipse, the message I'm hearing is one foot in front of the other. Take it slow, take it steady, keep moving forward and acknowledging the lessons you're learning along the path. All right? Now let's pull a card, everybody. Yes, 666 subscribers. I know. Is anybody going to change that today, though? We love an angel number, but we're trying to get to 1,000, you guys. 1,000 subscribers is when YouTube starts paying you for your views. So we're trying to monetize the channel to make this profitable, to keep coming on and bring you these live astrology forecasts every day. But we love to revel in an angel number moment at the same time, right? And I would love to get anybody else's input who's watching if you're into angel numbers. I know a lot of people are like, ooh, 666, the devil, you know? But in a lot of spiritual circles, 666 isn't necessarily a bad sign. It's technically a good one. So let me know what your thoughts are on 666 specifically. I want to know what you guys think about it. Okay, as I'm shuffling, this is the deck we're pulling from, the Queen of the Moon Oracle. It's got some dark vibes, and I was just really feeling with the Pluto energy today that we needed some dark vibes. So as I'm shuffling, let me know if you have any questions. This is your time to take a deep breath with me and ask your question of the universe as well. And we have a card. Ooh, the masculine. Okay, the masculine, love this. Lunar God. What does it mean? I've never pulled this card before. We love a card we've never pulled before. It's number 42. So if 42 is a special number for you, this card is specifically for you. And here's what it says. The masculine. It's time to step forward and lead. Be the leader in your own life. You have more power than you think. It's time to formally learn more, enroll in a course, or learn a new skill. Offer your protection to someone weaker than yourself. Take steps to improve your health and vitality. May the positive attributes of the masculine align with me. Okay, I'm going to keep reading the description in just a moment, but I love how it says the positive attributes of the masculine. I feel like right now in our society, the masculine is kind of getting a bad rep, like patriarchy. You know, people are really upset about the patriarchy, which I get. I totally agree. But being a divine masculine, being an awakened man right now is, I think, a little bit more difficult than being an awakened woman. There's a lot of women waking up and finding community with each other, and I don't see that happening as quickly with the masculine. So I just want to acknowledge that, and I'm going to keep reading, but I just wanted to say that. It was coming through to me. Okay. May the positive attributes of the masculine align with me. While lunar gods are rare, usually their realms are the solar. They are conspicuous when they appear. The Australian Aboriginal deity of the Wonnarua tribal area, Baimi, hopefully I said that right, encourages us to observe the laws of the land and to appreciate the beauty around us. Baimi is depicted with having big eyes and no mouth, teaching us that sometimes beauty does not need to be spoken about, just witnessed with the eyes of our head and our heart. The Norse god Mani, the moon himself, teaches us to be wise and about the passage of time. The Mesopotamian scene shows us how to ask about the future and how important it is to protect the weak. There are many more. The traditional positive attributes of the masculine, such as strength, physical vitality, power of will, shielding, and protection of the weak, are important for anyone to adopt, no matter their gender or orientation. Should you pull this card, it is asking you to step up into your power, your uniqueness, and offer your guidance to those who need it. I love this. I love this. The lunar god. You know, the moon is almost always associated with the woman, but I love how it talked about different cultures. Mesopotamia, Norse gods, Australian Aboriginal tribes, associating the moon with a man and kind of the protective energy of the moon. I see this very much like Capricorn energy. Even though the moon is often associated with Cancer, this card feels very Capricorn with the masculine and kind of the protective energy and acknowledging our own power and stepping into our own power. So this is your invitation. Don't be afraid to go deep within, because you could find your power hiding in there. You might have been suppressing it and not acknowledging how much power you truly have and your ability to set an example or protect other people by sharing your own power. I am a human being having a spiritual experience. I feel resonates with 666. I love that so much. I am a human being having a spiritual experience. All angel numbers, I think, are just little light codes kind of brought into our awareness to tell us we're on the right path. And so, 666, some people get a little scared by it, but I think an angel number is always a good sign personally. I love this so much. So glad you said that. Yeah, I'm excited I feel like kind of the next phase of ascension, awakening, whatever you want to call it, this, I don't want to even say trend, this period we're living in right now. I'm excited for the masculine to find community of their own. I'm sure it's happening, in a lot of ways, but I even know here locally, a lot of my friends who are women, they have husbands who've tried to start a men's group, and I think it's starting up, but it's really interesting seeing the hesitance of men to come together in a vulnerable space. So if you are a man watching this, or identify as a man, or identify with more masculine energy, I would just encourage you to really take note of this card and remember that you have the potential to be a leader. And if you are awakened to your own power, it could kind of be your duty, your responsibility to take the lead and help other men, give them the space to express their power, or even just start to discover their own power as well. Because like I said, it's a really it would be an interesting time, I think. I don't know what it's like to be a man, but especially if you're getting into spirituality, astrology, things like that, it's definitely a female-dominated space, it feels like, at the moment. So if you are a man watching this, a little pat on the back for you. I love that you're doing this for yourself. I love that you're waking up. And if you're here, I would just encourage you to talk about spirituality, talk about astrology with other men. Don't be afraid to go there. And maybe I'm projecting, like maybe there are men watching who are like, we talk about astrology all the time with our brothers, but I have a feeling you don't. That's just, maybe it's my bias, but I just can't wait for more men to start getting into this space. All right. I think that's going to do it for us today, you guys. Tomorrow, as I mentioned, we have Court joining us to talk all about the solar eclipse. We're going to try some new fun things tomorrow, and we have so much to talk about. So follow us both on Instagram. I'm going to put her handle up right now, actually. And stay tuned. We'll announce later today when we will go live tomorrow morning here on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter to talk all about, okay, did I spell that right? Hold on. To talk all about the eclipse. Okay, so here's how you can follow both of us. I think I spelled it all right. And we'll, like I said, announce when we're coming on, and Court's just a great follow too. So make sure to give her a follow, say hey to her on Instagram, and join us tomorrow because it's going to be a really fun episode. Okay, wait, claps loudly. I have not been using these enough. Do we need to incorporate more sound effects? I'm thinking yes. I've been thinking about a lot of ways to spice up the live stream a little bit. I've got some plans in the works. Just got to stay patient with me here. But yes. Okay, remind me tomorrow, Court. We're going to use sound effects. Let me show you a few other ones. The moon's in Aries. I'm feeling impulsive, okay? We have, if you crack a joke, I got you. Also, it's like we're on a sitcom. It's a laughing reel, right? Or if you say something shocking. Yeah, I'm having way too fun with these. Okay, the last one. If we want the party to start. Okay. I'm going to use this more. If you watch normally, remind me to use the sound effects because they're a new feature on this platform, but I haven't been having enough fun with them. So remind me tomorrow. We're going to bring the sound effects in, you guys. All right, that is going to do it for us today. I hope that you are willing to get vulnerable with yourself, to go deep and uncover your own truth and your own power in the process today. I'm so grateful you showed up for yourself today. I'm so grateful you showed up for this community today. If you found this video helpful, please go ahead and like and subscribe. Break the 666 subscriber number. That's okay. We acknowledge 666. You can be number 667. That's all right. And we're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers so we can monetize this channel and keep these videos coming to you for free every day, as I mentioned. So please go ahead and like and subscribe if you found this helpful. And we will see you right back here tomorrow to talk all about the solar eclipse and break down what it means for each sign. So I hope to see you here tomorrow whenever I see you next. Until then, stay curious. Thank you so much for joining us and aligning with the energy of the universe today. If you enjoyed this morning's episode of Transits Today, you can join our live astrology discussion every weekday morning right here wherever you're watching. And head to thespiritualjournalist.com to read your daily astrology forecast and browse the Spiritual Shop. The most fun way to help keep these forecasts free and support more content like this is to buy yourself a little something on our website. But if you're feeling extra generous, you can also buy me a coffee to fuel future live streams. Just tap the link in the description or head to buymeacoffee.com and search The Spiritual Journalist. And speaking of, you can also tune in to The Spiritual Journalist, our weekly live interview where we ask our guests questions about everything from crystals and manifestation to mental health and the environment. Those conversations stream live right here wherever you're watching now every Tuesday. I'm so grateful you found us here, and I can't wait for our next conversation.